Alright, what's going on, guys? So, today we're talking about how do you build an indestructible mindset? Because at the end of the day, what's in between your head, your mind, is the most important thing you need in this life. Because this is what's going to tell you to keep going, to keep pushing, to strive for better. If this is messed up, your reality will be messed up. If this is messed up, it will translate into everything around you. If you don't have the right mindset, you will stay stuck in the same place in life. And why is that so bad? Because we only get one life. And do you want to maximize everything that you have in this life? Or do you want to stay stuck in the same exact position your whole life? And even worse, you're born into poverty. You're born with bad genetics. You're fat, right? All these things. You were dealt a bad hand. You want to stay stuck in that for the rest of your life? Or do you want to overcome all the adversity that life has given you? If so, you need to develop the right mindset. And I personally think this is not advice. This is simply how I think and how I operate, because I believe that as men, we should not need to go to therapy. And if you go to therapy, I'm not knocking you. Whatever works for you, you do that, okay? But my belief and what I think is the right way is to ask yourself questions, because the only way to grow is to sit down and reflect, think back on previous actions, previous mistakes, previous failures, sit back, really analyze and take full accountability and say, what did I do wrong? Instead of being so quick to blame the next person, you and your friend broke it off, you and your girlfriend she broke up with you, your boss fired you. Instead of being so quick to say, oh, he was a snake. Oh, she didn't even, she was a bad girlfriend. Oh, my boss fired me. They're terrible. They're a terrible job. Instead of placing all the blame on outside sources, place the blame on yourself. Take accountability and understand and say, okay, maybe I did something wrong. What can I learn from this failure, from this mistake, that will take me into a better position in life for the next time that I deal with that? For the next time I work another job, for the next time I have another girlfriend, for the next time I have another friend. What can I do and how can I do it better? What did I do wrong? Why did I do it wrong? How did I do it wrong? How can I improve it? What do I need to do to improve it? And what am I not going to do the next time that the same situation comes around? So I think when you go to therapy, they're just taking your money, because you're sitting there and they're asking you, so how do you feel? Okay. And so what happened in the past? Okay. And how does that make you feel? Okay. And do you remember a time? And like, all these questions you should be asking yourself, because I think a man should be self-sufficient. I think a man should not need to rely on anyone else. A man should be his everything, really. I think you should be self-sufficient. It's like when you were a kid and you asked your dad questions and he just knew the answers to everything. Why do you think he knew the answers to everything? He's just self-sufficient. So as a man, I believe you need to be self-sufficient, because I think looking within, you have all the answers. You have all the potential, all the power to heal yourself, to grow yourself. But you have to look within. You have to look back in retrospect. And you have to really sit and think about your life. Think about your life and ask yourself these questions. You wouldn't need to pay anyone. You wouldn't need to go on anyone and depend on anyone for anything, because you have the questions and you can answer them yourself. I promise you. That is the way to growth. I've grown so much in the past couple years. How did I do it? By simply reflecting on all my past mistakes, all my previous actions, looking back, thinking about it, and figuring out what I did wrong and what I can do better. Everything. And that's how I've grown a lot. And with this mindset, I will never stop growing. I will continue to grow until the day I die. And I want you guys to do the same. I want you guys to wake up every day, think about your life, think about your previous mistakes, figure out how to do them better. Look for your weaknesses. Look for your weaknesses, because at the end of the day, if you try to hide away from your weaknesses, they will always linger in your life. But when you put your weaknesses on the forefront and shine a bright light on them, you are now more capable of working on it. Because if it's in the dark and you try to shy away from it, the problem's never going away. That's something that I learned in this life. If you don't handle your problem, it's gonna stay there forever. If your tire broke, right? If your tire blew, do you think that avoiding the problem, do you think that driving slower, do you think that not looking at your car for a couple days, do you think that that's going to make it any better? It's not, until you man up and you deal with your problems. It's up to you to handle your problems. So if you want to build that indestructible mindset, that mindset that cannot be shaken, it cannot be broken, a man who doesn't need anybody and doesn't need to depend on anyone, a one-man army, then you have to analyze your life. You have to ask yourself these questions. If therapy worked for you, man, do it. Go ahead. But I'm just saying, this is what works for me, and I believe it can work for you too. I truly, wholeheartedly believe that. Because I believe we are fully capable of healing and growing ourselves. We have all the answers. First you must have the questions, and then you can answer it yourself. If you just seek the answers, you will find them. But I don't think having to rely on somebody else to ask you the questions that you should be asking yourself is the best way for a man to live. I just don't think so. But if you feel like you are severely traumatized, then if you think that's for you, do it. That's what you want to do, go for it. Because at the end of the day, you are your own man and you make your own choices. But I'm just saying, if you want to grow, you have to think about all your previous mistakes, all your previous relationships, all your previous jobs, how you used to communicate, how you're communicating now, how can you advance, how you can become better. And this is how you build an indestructible mindset. Because you are self-sufficient. You don't need to rely on anybody. That's how I've grown. That's the only way I've grown. It's making mistakes, looking back at it and taking it as a lesson. I am appreciative for all the mistakes I've made. I am so thankful for every single failure in my life, for every single mistake, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the man I am today. But I'm the man I am today. Why? Because I went through adversity. I've been through shit that simply just makes me stronger. It just makes you stronger. But only if you sit back and think about the lesson that life was trying to teach you. That's the only way. Alright guys, like the video, share your thoughts down below, and subscribe. Peace out.